invasions, occupations, coups. They have a devastating impact on the country, its citizens, and on its own children, shaping, deshaping, destroying their lives in ways and in time, sometimes for generations. In these conflicts of ideologies, politics, boundaries, religions, these children are relegated to those of a lesser God. They witness horrors no child should ever face, losing loved ones, watching their homes and schools crumble, and being torn from everything they know, their reality torn apart forever. The pain and fear they witness stay with them, leaving brutal scars, not only on the body, that last a lifetime. Anxiety, depression, trauma imprint indelible scars which even time cannot erase. Far too many had to run, emigrate, become refugees forcibly. Some cannot, and they find themselves in the middle of it, waiting for a bomb to relieve them of their present with no future. Some get conscripted, become child soldiers, all robbed of the innocence and joy that should belong to childhood. The toll it takes on them doesn't just break their hearts, it crushes their dreams. Their future is put on hold, their aspirations bombed. The basic need for education doesn't remain basic anymore. It stacks under as they struggle just to survive, facing hunger, sickness, and death every day. Their childhood cooked. In our next four-part series of Good Childhood, four young readers will tell the stories from three war-torn countries where millions of children are growing without childhood. From Afghanistan to Iran to Palestine, the childhoods are invaded, occupied, and good. Yet, even in the darkest times, the resilience of children shines through, and then again, they rise, phoenix like, with hope for healing, growth, and a brighter tomorrow. Welcome to the Bookbibuli podcast. I've always been drawn to books set during World War II, and this one is no exception. The story is told from the perspective of a 16-year-old who yearns to make a difference and play a meaningful role in the war, ideally by helping the resistance. When a neighbor asks him for a favor, he sees it as his opportunity. But he ends up doing much more than he ever expected. The narrative is delivered by the author himself. The 16-year-old Michiel finds himself drawn into the resistance. As the war draws to a close, Michel matures and discovers the harsh contrast between the excitement of adventure and the brutal realities of war. And we have Neysa with us today to discuss this book. Hello, Neysa.
Hi, I am Neysa Beher of class 5th B. I study in Ridge Valley School. I like the color pink. I also like reading, playing sports, and doing arts and crafts.
It's great to know you, Neysa. Let's talk about Michel, the main protagonist. How does he change throughout the course of the story? And what key experiences influence his growth and understanding of the world surrounding him?
Michelle starts as a typical 14-year-old, full of curiosity and a desire for adventure. However, as he gets involved in the resistance, he faces real dangers and moral dilemmas that force him to grow up quickly. The responsibility of helping a downed British pilot and witnessing the brutality of the war transform him from an innocent boy to a mature and courageous young man. His experiences shape his understanding of trust, betrayal, and the true cost of war. Initially, he wants the war to go on in the beginning of the book, but in the end of the book mentions that the reinforcements from US, France and other alliances will arrive, and finally the Nazis' rule over Netherlands will finish.
In this book, the story follows Michel's journey through the complexities of World War II, where loyalty, courage, and morality are constantly tested. How does the novel explore these themes, particularly the impact of war on individuals and their personal decisions?
This novel deeply explores loyalty, courage and mortality. Michiel learns what it is to stay true to his values even when it puts him in danger. The book also highlights how war forces people to make difficult choices, often blurring the lines between right and wrong. The impact of war on civilians is another crucial theme as we see how ordinary families struggle to survive under occupation.
It's harsh winter in Netherlands during World War II. And this setting is used to amplify the tension and struggle of its characters. This severe winter environment enhances the mood of the story and it just changes the whole perspective. So, Neysa, tell us that how does the time and place influence these characters and the plot?
The harsh winter setting enhances the mood of the story by giving the air of mystery, a feeling of hopelessness, and the essence of a true story. The harsh winter adds to the novel's bleak and tense atmosphere. The cold, hunger, and the darkness mirror the struggles and the fears of the characters. The setting of the Nazi-occupied Netherlands intensifies the stakes, as every decision Michel makes could mean life or death. The oppressive presence of Nazis makes the resistance efforts even more heroic and dangerous.
We are ever so glad you liked the book, especially as it was recommended to you under the North Star program. Talking of which, what do you think of the North Star program of Bookbibuli?
The North Star program is individualistic by design, absolutely personal. The curation, the guidance, the goals are all unique to my reading. Every child is considered different and her program is built from ground just for him, her, specific and personal in each and every parameter. My program designed for me by my personal curator who understands my tastes, ambition, interests, weak and strong spots. It is flexible, moves with my pace, adapts to my reading, evolves around me. The North Star program is not a reading program. It is an ecosystem for nurturing readers. Tells what to read, when to read. It makes me feel proud of being a reader. It gets to meet so many of fellow nerds readers. It gives me a community to talk to. It exposes me to the world of renowned authors. It celebrates me, the reader in me, the achievements of being a reader. It gives me a platform to podcast, talk on the books I have read, inspire other children. It makes me famous, I get honored, and I get rewarded. Being a reader is being a star. It is the first and the only platform by the children for the children.
That is true. It is one of a kind program. It is first and the only platform by the children for the children. And that's what makes it so special. Coming back to Winter in Wartime, it provides a vivid portrayal of life in Netherlands during the Nazi occupation of World War II. It highlights the struggles faced by civilians, especially under the brutal occupation. The story reflects the historical reality of the war, but it also gives us keen insight into the experiences of ordinary people. Tell us about them. Tell us how do they live through that devastating time.
The book offers a realistic depiction of what life was like for the civilians under Nazi occupation, the fear of betrayal, the scarcity of food, and the moral dilemmas were faced by resistant fighters all reflect true wartime experiences. Throughout Michiel's journey, we see how young people were forced to take on responsibilities beyond their years and how the war left lasting scars on communities. In the beginning of the book, Michiel is forced to move in the night. Due to this reason, Michiel bangs into a hole and one of the bottles of the milk gets smashed in the back. When he reaches home, he apologizes to his mother and explains it to her. His mother gets angry because this meant that the guests in his house couldn't have coffee, but then when she calms down, she tells him she's sorry because when she reflects on the incident, she sees that even though Michiel is barely 16, he is still doing a man's work.
I felt Michelle confronts challenging moral dilemmas throughout the book. And throughout the book, every time that he faces a dilemma, he has to make a tough decision. And these are the choices which shape his character. So tell us some incident, or maybe more than one, which make you understand that these decisions are what enable Michelle to grow.
Throughout the novel, Michiel faces tough decisions such as whether to trust certain people or how to protect the pilot. These choices define his character and slow his growth. While some of his actions might seem risky, they highlight his bravery and strong moral compass. Personally, I admire his courage, though some of his decisions put him in great danger. Michel shows an act of bravery when he decides to help Dirk's friend by providing him with basic first aid, food, and water. When Michel receives the news about Dirk's capture, he is upset. He is surprised when he receives Dirk's letter about Dirk's Nazi friend. He rushes to the hideout that Dirk mentioned, thus agreeing to help him. He also goes in daytime, where anyone can easily spot him and wonder where he's going, including the Nazis. Even when he could get caught and punished, Michel still decided to help his friend.
More often than not, secondary characters play crucial roles in shaping the story. Secondary characters in this book, such as Michelle's family members and the resistance fighters, offer valuable perspectives on courage, sacrifice, and loyalty. This helps Michelle understand their actions, belief, and they deeply influence his development. So let's talk a little about that.
Michel's family and the resistance fighters play a vital role in his journey. His father represents wisdom and justice, while Uncle Ben provides crucial guidance, and the hidden British pilot serves as a symbol of the larger war effect. Each character influences Michel's transformation and helps shape his perspective on war and mortality. Michel's father taught him about what is right and what is wrong. Uncle Ben always helped him in making difficult choices and decisions.
Well, now that we have discussed this story threadbare, I want to know, what did you think of the ending of Winter in Wartime? Was it satisfying to you, hopeful to you, tragic to you, or did you just not care?
The ending of Winter in Wartime is both tragic and hopeful. While Michel survives and gains a deeper understanding of war, he also experiences significant loss. The conclusion feels realistic, doesn't offer a fairy tale resolution, but instead leaves the reader with a sense of the cost of the war. I think Tolstoy chose this ending to emphasize the lasting impact of the conflict on young people. I thought that the ending was quite eventful, like when Michel found out that Uncle Ben was a traitor. or when Dirk tells him about how it was Dirk's fault that Michel's father got punished.
Okay. The last two lines have to be omitted as they are spoilers. So tell us, Neysa, reading Winter in Wartime, did it affect you emotionally? Did you change your perspective on war?
Reading Winter in Wartime was an emotional experience. Seeing war through Michel's eyes made me reflect on how young people are affected by conflicts. It also deepened my appreciation for the sacrifices made by the resistant fighters and ordinary civilians. The book serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience and the courage shown during the times of oppression.
One last question. How does Winter in Wartime compare to other books that you've read about World War II?
Compared to other World War II books, Winter in Wartime stands out for its unique Dutch perspective and its focus on a young protagonist navigating through the complexities of a war. It is similar to The Boy in the Striped Pajamas in its exploration of innocent loss, but differs by offering a more action-driven and suspenseful nature. It also reminds me of Anne Frank's diary in the way it captures the emotional and moral struggles of civilians during the war.
Thank you so much, Nisa, for being with us today. It's been a lovely session.
Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you will read it and enjoy it as much as I did.
Winter in Wartime is a historical novel by Dutch author John Terlouw, first published in 1972. Set in the Netherlands during the final winter of World War II, the book follows 16-year-old Michiel as he is drawn into resistance against the Nazi occupation. When a wounded British pilot is left in his care, Michiel must navigate the dangers of war, betrayal, and moral dilemmas. And now it's time for Bookbibuli Read Reco. The writing is clear and engaging, balancing vivid descriptions with a straightforward narrative style. The prose is not overly complex. It's easy and accessible to young readers. The language effectively conveys the bleakness of wartime without becoming excessively grim. The novel maintains a steady and immersive pace. The tension builds naturally as you see Michelle taking on increasingly risky responsibilities, but it never feels slow. The book is apt for readers aged 12 and up. It deals with serious themes like war, survival, moral complexity, but it's done in a very thought provoking manner. I think young readers might need some guidance to fully grasp the historical context and the ethical dilemmas that the main protagonist faces as well. The books to be read before this book would be Number the Stars by Louis Lowry, a gentler introduction to wartime resistance for younger readers, or The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, another World War II novel that explores the impact of war on young people. And if you want to move on to the next read, the ideal choice would be Codename Verity. Winter in Wartime is an excellent blend of historical fiction. It is both an adventure novel and a thought provoking reflection on war, courage, and morality. I would highly recommend it. It's unique with a different Dutch perspective. So, there again, until next week, better read, read better.